Introducing the epic new Swift. Time to go swifting.
वॉचो ऐप पे देखो एक ओटीटी के दाम पे सारे ओटीटी शान से.
Wow, what have we witnessed? It's a storyline from Kingstown that will be savoured and celebrated from Kabul to Kandahar and across. Afghanistan are through to the semi-finals of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2024. Just about 15 years after they started playing at this level, Afghanistan will feature in the knockout rounds of a Men's World Cup for the first time. They do so after a heart-stopping victory amid the rain in St. Vincent over Bangladesh, which also sees Australia knocked out from the competition. What a result, what a finish to the Super 8 stage of this World Cup. We look back on all the talking points on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout, powered by Dish TV Watcho, where we are joined by Tamim Iqbal. Tamim, let me get your first reactions on a match that was drama beyond anything you can imagine.
You can't ask for anything more. I don't know who writes the script of this game. It's hard to explain, I know. Very disheartening for Bangladesh, but in the end, I think cricket won. And a lot of congratulations to Afghanistan. I think the way they played the whole tournament was something to watch. And even today, after putting up 115, and the way they defended was something to see. And I think well done to Afghanistan. It's still sinking into me because I wanted Bangladesh to win. We had an opportunity even to qualify for semis. But there's a lot of things that I'm sure we are going to talk about today.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around all the things that need to be unpacked over the course of the next few minutes. Just to stress on what Tamim pointed, once Bangladesh kept Afghanistan down to 115, they knew going into the chase before the rain hit that if they were to chase it down in 12.1 overs, Bangladesh would go through. Any other win, any later victory for Bangladesh would have meant Australia would go through. But as it turns out, Afghanistan, winning by 8 runs on DLS, eventually are the team who go through. Before we start unpacking some of the rest, Tamim, as this is a moment in Afghanistan cricket which they're going to remember for the ages. You can think of your own time in Bangladesh when Bangladesh were new to the international arena, and think back to that World Cup in the Caribbean itself, where no one really thought that Bangladesh would be going through to the second round, but they did. When you compare that emotion to what Afghanistan are feeling now, just try and tell us what the magnitude of this is and what this will mean for Afghanistan cricket.
I think this is going to be massive for Afghanistan cricket because I think it's not only for the cricketers or the particular team. I think for the whole nation, for Afghanistan, it will be massive. We all know that how passionate they are as a country towards sports, towards cricket, and it's you cannot ask for more. And the way they're playing, but this is not the end probably. Semi-finals against whoever they are playing, they definitely have a chance. So they have a chance to go all the way, in my opinion, at least to finals. And I think this will be big for everyone back at home because as a country, they have suffered a lot in the past. And this kind of happiness will all unite the country for them. And I think that is massive for Afghanistan.
And it's a win that, when you look at the architect, it is Afghanistan's captain, their global superstar, Rashid Khan, who has taken 4 for 23. Because, Tamim, when the Bangladesh chase began, they'd started quite well with Liton Das having, they lost wickets early, but then Liton Das, given the low target in front of them, was keeping Bangladesh just about ahead. But then Rashid Khan runs through the middle order, 4 wickets, and not to forget, 19 of just 10 balls, was it, at the end of the innings, which was also key to Afghanistan getting to 115.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think if I start with Afghanistan's batting, I think they were too cautious, in my opinion. They were 12 overs, 13 overs, 1 down. I think they could have pushed a little bit more. Maybe this is not a wicket where 150, 160 is being scored. Maybe 130, 140 would have been a very winning score. Now 115 is a winning score, but I think they were too cautious at the beginning. And then when Bangladesh came to bat on, I think Bangladesh had a clear idea what they need to do. Litton played very well. He normally plays well against Afghanistan because he picks Rashid quite well and all the other wrist spinners. So he has a good history against Afghanistan. But in my opinion, Bangladesh will be very disappointed. I think Bangladesh should have gone for the chase, even if they could have bowled out for 70 or 80. They have anyway lost today, but they had an opportunity to do something very special, and this kind of opportunity doesn't come to you very often, especially after when you have won nothing in Super 8 and the last game, and you have an opportunity to make it to the World Cup semi-final. So you probably will do anything and everything to achieve that. I think in patches, Bangladesh looked they are going to chase it, and then there were wickets, and then there was probably a less intent in batting in some few of the overs that made difficult for Bangladesh.
Yeah, that does take us towards a thread which is important to consider. But just before we go there, I want to close out this Rashid thread. When you look at this performance, and it's not just this one, Rashid did have a 4 in the win over New Zealand as well. This coming into a World Cup which he came into after a difficult IPL which he'd entered on the back of a back surgery, and there were questions around whether Rashid is, will take a while to rediscover his mojo. Rashid Khan proving why he is one of the best bowlers going out there in world cricket.
Absolutely, he is one of the best bowler in the world, and when you're representing Afghanistan, and everybody knows how big is Rashid is in world cricket, he is the biggest superstar from Afghanistan. To Rashid, I think it's a lot of pressure on himself to come and perform every game, and especially performing games like today, where a lot of things was in stake for Afghanistan. A win could qualify them for semi-finals. So it takes a very strong mentality. Yes, we all know that how skillful he is. We all know that how good he is with bat and ball and field. But mentality-wise, you need to be extremely strong to perform in this kind of games. And he did it beautifully, whether it's a small cameo that he did with his bat and the way he bowled, it shows that how big cricketer he is and how strong mentality he is, which is more important to me.
Now, Tamim, we can enter that phase of the Bangladesh batting that you touched upon. Just to break the scores to our viewers, while Litton Das was having a great time, Bangladesh at one point was 73 for 5 in 9 overs. For their qualification, that meant they needed 43 in 3.1 or even 49 in up to 3.5 overs for them to go through. Then you see an over where Mahmudullah, taking on Noor Ahmed, hits 1 boundary and bats out 5 dot balls. How surprising was the lack of intent for you there?
Yeah, it's difficult. I think I won't actually point out individuals like that. I think as a team, Bangladesh had a good first stage. When they came to super stage, we all know that the performance was not up to the mark, but they had an opportunity today to make it to the semi-final. So even if they lose by 30 runs, even if they lose by 40 runs, at least if they could have tried to chase that down, at least the people could have understood, the fans could have understood back at home that, okay, there was an opportunity, we tried, we failed, that's fine. But now everybody is like confusing kind of a mood, because neither we won the game, neither we tried to chase it down. So there's a lot of things I think that needs to be answered, to be very honest. And yes, I said at one point I was hoping that we might go through, because one over, if goes for 15 and 20, the game was on. I know it's difficult. Bangladesh kept on losing wicket, but there was no harm in just trying till the end.
Yeah, those next 3 overs from 73 for 5 and 9 have got just nine runs for Bangladesh. And the problem, Tamim, is that this is a continuing theme. You yourself have brought up that defeatist mindset almost on past shows during this competition. You mentioned how you found it upsetting that Bangladesh seemed to have a narrative that reaching the Super 8s is enough. Where does this sort of mindset come from, and what is the cure to it?
It's difficult to say. It's difficult to say. I think we sometimes are very reluctant. What is going to happen if you don't do this? If you do this, probably we are in that kind of a mindset at the moment, and in the past as well. So this is where your leaders needs to stand up, your coaches needs to stand up and show you the direction. This particular game, we have spoken a lot about Bangladesh cricket in the past when they lost to Australia, when they lost to India. If they have lost to Afghanistan today, it could have been the same World Cup for Bangladesh. But if they could have gone for that chase and they could have achieved it, we would have talking very differently today, and the whole country could have been very proud of what have Bangladesh achieved in this World Cup. But unfortunately, I was a bit surprised that at one point, they already decided that no, we're not going to chase it. We're just going to win the game, which I didn't like. I thought, give it a try. If we lose, we lose. If we win, it's like you have achieved something that you have not achieved in your history.
Is there a chance that they were batting in a way to just kind of ensure that Afghanistan don't make it through, get the win, but get it in as many overs, which would then see Australia through at the expense of Afghanistan?
No, I don't think. I don't think Bangladesh will think like that. I think no cricket team will think like that, especially when that particular team, like Bangladesh, had a chance. So I don't think Bangladesh will be thinking like that. What I thought is they tried for a little while, and when they lost a couple of wickets, they thought, okay, we just need to win this game. This is what they thought, rather than who will qualify and who will not.
When you look overall at the batting, and this is again a theme that we've touched upon a few times over the course of this campaign, skills versus approach, how do you assess it at the end of this campaign, Tamim? Is there a lack in the skills, and is there a need for a countrywide rethink in terms of approach in T20 cricket?
I think, yes, there are lack of a lot of things. That's why probably we are not one of the best teams in the world in this particular format. There are a lot of things that we probably are doing wrong. So I think we need to, as I said, we need to sit and decide how we want to take this forward, whether we going to win bilateral series here and there, or do you really want to win ICC trophies or do well in ICC trophies? This is a question that BCB needs to decide, because BCB is our governing body. They make the decision, and with the coaches, players, and management has to come to a solution how we go forward. We're talking about skills, we're talking about power hitting, everything. See, Indians are not heavily built, if you see in that way, like West Indies, like Australia, but they have found a way to use those power hitting in their advantage. Subcontinent humans are almost similar, structurally made. So if others can do it, I don't see any reason why Bangladesh can't do it. Maybe we are doing something wrong, which I don't have an answer now to give you, that we need to rectify and come out with a solution.
There are lots of questions pouring in, as they tend to, Tamim, whenever you're around. And I'm going to take one of them before moving on, which comes from Salik Hassan Tuhin, who's asking, Tamim bhai, do you think it's high time for a shuffle of the whole coaching staff? Why can't we bring coaches like Bravo or Trott, who have more cricket knowledge than the old model cricket sense?
See, coaches, this is something that BCB needs to decide, and needs to decide pretty quickly. See, Bangladesh has always bought the best possible option that is available in coaches. It's not like that we don't want to get Bravos or Trotts or someone like that, but we want to get someone who has a vision, which is very, very important. As I said, if you don't have a vision, if you're happy with Super 8s and then you're making a comment of anything is bonus from here, then it clearly shows that you don't have a mission, because what message you are giving to the nation, what message you are giving to your opponent. If this was the challenge coming to Super 8, I think a lot of Bangladeshi coaches will put their hand up and will take this challenge if BCB throws this challenge to them that we just want to qualify for the Super 8s, and after Super 8s we are fine losing all the games. I think you don't have to bring Trot and Bravo to achieve this. I think Bangladesh's coaches are capable of at least doing this. So, but if you're getting the best ones in the world, which Bangladesh Cricket Board always try and do, then those coaches has to give us a plan or show us a vision where to go. It's also not very fair. Yes, I'm talking about a coach, but it's also not very fair only point out at coaching staff or the management or the BCB. The players also has responsibility. That I must tell you that players also has responsibility to how I get better at developing new shots, how I get better as a cricketer, and then it's combined. So it won't be fair if I just speak about coaching staff, BCB or player. I think it's a combined effort that needs to happen and happen very quickly.
All right. Speaking of the various moments and all the drama that was involved in this game, there was one that came towards one of those rain breaks, and there were quite a few rain breaks, with Gulbadin Naib going down. It came at a moment where Afghanistan had just gone ahead as far as DLS pass scores were concerned. What did you make of that passage of play, Tamim?
See, people might have different opinion. I think a lot of people could have done that. I genuinely believe a lot of people could have done that, and a lot of people wouldn't have done that. So it's a personal thing. I don't see it in a nice way, or I don't see it in a bad way. I understand how the emotions were going. Probably the way of doing it, maybe we can argue about it, but a time wasting in this kind of situation, we have not seen it for the first time, and we won't see it for the last time. This has happened a lot of times.
Can see a lot of comments on our stream likening Gulbadin Naib's behavior to that of a famous Brazilian footballer from the past decade. Without going into any names, I'm going to highlight one of the comments from our ball-by-ball commentary, which just said, from flexing his biceps to clutching his hamstrings, Gulbadin never relaxes a muscle. He did come back to take a wicket as well after that rain interval, so not short on drama there. Now, when you assess Afghanistan, Tamim, they go through to a semi-final, their first at any men's World Cup, where they will take on South Africa now in Taruba, which is a night game. How do you see Afghanistan's chances in that game?
I think they have a very good chance. You never know with Afghanistan, especially with the spin bowling attack they have. They can challenge any team, especially whether it was England, whether it's South Africa, they could have challenged both the teams. The biggest challenge that they need to face is their batting. And especially after the top order, there is nobody else who is scoring runs. That is the biggest challenge, because you cannot rely on only two batsers. And because South Africa also have a quality bowling attack, and if they get 2 early wickets, then who for Afghanistan? That's the biggest question that Afghanistan need to ask themselves. If they can post anything over 140, 150, Afghanistan will definitely have a chance.
Now, they've built themselves a template. You look at some of these famous wins for them, be it against New Zealand in the group stage, Australia, and now this one. Afghanistan prefer to bat first and then apply the chokehold, no pun intended, towards South African fans. But were they to face a target against South Africa, how do you see that going?
That's the biggest challenge for Afghanistan, because if there was 2, 3, 4 batsmen scoring runs in different games, they could have been confident, because whatever the pitch's condition is, they could have decided on the day. But it's looking like more a batting first Afghanistan in every game, because that is suiting them. So that is the problem, because nobody else is scoring apart from Gurbaz and Ibrahim Zadran. So they need to fix someone in the middle. If somebody plays a cameo, they don't need to score like 60, 70 or 80. Just a cameo of 30 or a 25, a quick 25 or quick 30. If they can do that in the middle, I think Afghanistan are looking very, very good.
All right, and just to close out the thread on Bangladesh, we have done the introspection and there's been a lot of the harder questions around the batting. But when you look at the campaign on the whole, making it out of what was not a very easy group stage featuring Netherlands and Sri Lanka in particular, what to you will be the biggest positives from this campaign?
I think it has to be the bowling department, and if I have to name one, I think Rishad was the find for Bangladesh in this World Cup, and he bowled exceptionally well, almost in every game, apart from maybe the India game, but he did exceptionally well, and that it gives a lot of confidence to the selectors, to the coaching staff, to bring on other leg spinners, whoever is doing well in Bangladesh, because Bangladesh was somehow always reluctant to see how the leg spinner is going to do well, because they don't play too many domestic games. So now you have someone who hasn't done exceptionally well in domestic, but when he was given the opportunity to play for the national team, he did exceptionally well. So Bangladesh will be confident of making new calls if somebody as good as Rishad is doing well in domestics or BPL, to bring him to the national team and give him a go. So I think this Rishad's performance has opened doors for leg spinners in Bangladesh.
Yeah, that will be such an overarching theme, because we'd rarely seen wrist spinners coming from Bangladesh and taking World Cups by storm. Between Rashad and Tauhid Hridoy, who's now impressed at 3 consecutive big events, right from the Asia Cup last year to coming here to the T20 World Cup, there's a decent enough set of individuals who could guide Bangladesh towards their future in this format?
I always get scared players like Tauhid Hridoy and Afif Hussain, if you remember, because I always say to them, is they're a different breed. Different breed, what I mean by different breed is they're not like typical Bangladeshi breed. So what I mean by that is, let's say, they will come regardless of situation. This is Afif and Tauhid. They will come regardless of situation. If 30 for 4, 30 for 5, they will play the attacking game. They will take on the bowlers. In subcontinent, it's not about only in Bangladesh, but in subcontinent, when you are 30 for 4, and if you come to bat and if you hit a big shot and get out, there will be a lot of negative talk about you. But these two guys are very different, especially coming from Bangladesh. Yes, we are seeing India is doing it now after so many years. Regardless of anything, they're just going for everything. So I think these two are very different breed. I hope they continue the way they're playing at the moment, and Bangladesh supports them the way they are playing, and all the management supports them when even if they're failing 1 or 2 or 3 games, regardless of the situation. Maybe the situation is needed to go run a ball, but if they try to hit a 6 and get out, you need to support these kind of players, because these are extremely rare breed in Bangladesh.
All right, that is quite a good note to wrap things on Bangladesh, who go out, but not after having made the Super 8s after quite a long while at the T20 World Cup, which will also mean, unfortunately, the last we'll see of Tamim Iqbal for this tournament. But Tamim, you've been such a sport and done some good predictions, so I don't want to let you go without a final question of you. South Africa versus Afghanistan semi-final 1, India versus England semi-final 2. Who are your finalists?
India, for sure. India is playing the final. South Africa versus Afghanistan. I want Afghanistan to win, but probably South Africa will win.
India versus South Africa, which, regardless of who does go through from South Africa, Afghanistan, that will be a first-time T20 World Cup finalist. All right, Tamim, this is where we will say goodbye to you. It's been such a pleasure having you on our coverage throughout this T20 World Cup. It's reflected itself in the comments in particular. Your fans tend to go buzzing every time they see you. So thank you so much for your time and company throughout this World Cup.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, we will hear from Tamim Iqbal shortly. Okay. Soon enough in the future, I'm sure. But this is where we close. 52 out of 55 games done. Resounding Super 8 stage to continue what is proving to be such a remarkable T20 World Cup. South Africa versus Afghanistan will be semi-final 1. That will be 27th early morning if you're on the subcontinental clock. And then that's followed by India versus England, rematch of the 2022 semi-final. So we'll be back for both those games. Be sure to join us then. In the meantime, all the preview content to the semi-finals will be going up on the ESPN Cricinfo mobile app. So download it. That is where you'll also hear what both camps had to say on the back of this historic win for Afghanistan. We will see you soon. Afghanistan in Dreamland, Australia, knocked out. See you soon. Thank you for watching. This was Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricinfo TimeOut, powered by Dish TV Watch Show.
Introducing the epic new Swift. Time to go swifting.
वॉचो ऐप पे देखो एक ओटीटी के दाम पे सारे ओटीटी शान से।
Watch